Support for this podcast comes from the Central Valley Journalism Collaborative, connecting communities with the resources, infrastructure, and networks to ensure a vibrant local free press.
From KVPR in Fresno, this is Central Valley Daily. Happy Friday, it's September 26th. I'm Elizabeth Arkalian. California's looking to bring more year-round firefighters into the force.
These fires, as people saw, not just in the Palisades or in the Eaton, but in the Paradise and the old Tubbs fire, those all happened at times when these firefighters are laid off.
What this means for seasonal firefighters and the people they serve, that story in just a moment, but first, these headlines. Republican State Senator Shannon Grove says she is welcoming new oil drilling permits coming soon to Kern County.
This is what this area of the state is used for. It's what it's been used for 100 years. It has developed with new technology to be more carbon compliant over the years. A lot of it is electrified. We've got electrified drilling rigs coming in now.
Grove is celebrating a recently signed bill by Governor Gavin Newsom that will boost permitting for 10 years. She says it will allow for more in-state oil production and will reduce gas prices. Oil production has declined in recent decades in California, partly because of previous laws signed by Governor Newsom, but Kern County remains a key region for energy production in the state. Leaders overseeing the renewal of a Fresno County tax measure are disputing claims from a recent complaint. KVPR's Crescencio Rodriguez Delgado reports.
A group known as Guardians of Growth filed a complaint with the Fresno County District Attorney's Public Integrity Unit earlier this week. Among its claims was that a subcommittee associated with the Measure C Renewal Committee was meeting in secret and that the group was violating open meeting laws. The claims were lobbed at the Fresno Council of Governments. The chairwoman of that agency said the claims are unfounded. Alma Martinez said in a letter that the subcommittee has been addressed publicly on multiple occasions. She also says the committee has no official roster or minutes, but it's unclear if it's legally required to. Measure C is a half-cent sales tax that expires in 2027. The committee is hoping to put a renewal of the measure on the ballot next November. For KVPR News, I'm Crescencio Rodriguez Delgado.
A Bakersfield school forfeited a volleyball match this week because of a transgender player on the opposing team. Bakersfield Christian High School decided not to compete against Ridgeview High School because of, quote, deeply held religious beliefs around gender. Earlier this year, the Trump administration launched an investigation into California after a trans athlete was allowed to compete at the track and field finals in Clovis. Governor Gavin Newsom has signed a new law requiring schools to notify parents, students, and staff if federal immigration officers come onto campus. All California K-12 schools, some college campuses, and even private schools will have to implement notification systems by March 2026. The UC system can't be required to comply, but lawmakers expect it will. CSU Northridge professor Antonio Gallo has been teaching for over 20 years. He says faculty will not be expected to intervene if federal agents show up.
We had one of our own faculty members get arrested. So we understand the realities of the world, and we understand that some faculty members have mortgages to pay. They have children they need to take care of. So they're going to have to make that individual choice as to the extent of their involvement when it comes to immigration officers.
Newsom also signed several other measures limiting immigration enforcement, including banning schools from letting ICE agents on campus without a warrant. The leader of the Marjorie Mason Center in Fresno is leaving her role. Nicole Linder is working on a transition before leaving in the coming months. She's led the Marjorie Mason Center for 9 years. The nonprofit supports adults and children affected by domestic violence in Fresno County, which has among the highest rate of calls to law enforcement for domestic violence. The nonprofit did not say what Linder's next role would be.
For as long as you can remember, public radio has been here to shine a light on issues in your community. But there are those who want to silence it. KVPR now depends entirely on community support. That means we need you to stand up today. Start a new monthly sustaining donation and be one of 200 new members to help us unlock $25,000 in additional funding. Click donate at kvpr.org or on the KVPR app.
And now to our main story. What once was a fire season in California is now a fire year. As a result, the state is looking to combat increasing wildfires with funding for more year-round firefighters. To learn what this could mean, KVPR's Rachel Livinal visited a training facility in the Fresno County town of Del Rey.
Matt Scarelli is a firefighter, and he has the bristly firefighting mustache.
I know originally back in the day it was a bit of a smoke filter. It's just a culture thing. You want to look the part, I guess?
Today, instead of relying on his stash, Scarelli is wearing a portable respirator and mask. It's part of a test at a training center used by county and state firefighters. He's also wielding a hydrant and a hose.
Ley line!
Fire's extinguished, checking for extension.
The proctor says he aced the test, and it's no surprise, because he's done it before. Scarelli was a seasonal firefighter with CAL FIRE for 6 months before he was laid off in June. Layoffs are a given for seasonal firefighters, though usually in the winter months. But it's something he's trying to get away from.
That idea of becoming a permanent firefighter is always on my mind. I mean, I never wanted to be a seasonal firefighter.
He could land a permanent job soon. That's because a big chunk of money approved in the state budget earlier this year aims to transition thousands of seasonal firefighters into year-round positions. It's almost $40 million for this year and $78 million each year after that. And it was set in motion by several state lawmakers, including Jasmeet Baines.
Year after year, we saw the fires getting worse and worse and worse. The discussion was every day is fire season now.
She's an assembly member out of Kern County and a doctor who's worked on fire lines. The ultimate goal is to transition 3,000 seasonal firefighters. Tim Edwards says a larger year-round workforce is crucial. He's the union president for firefighters in CAL FIRE.
These fires, as people saw, not just in the Palisades or in the Eaton, but in the Paradise and the old Tubbs fire, those all happened at times when these firefighters are laid off.
Edwards says the promotions could attract more to the field.
Recruitment would go up even more because they know if they're going to get a job, it's not just part-time, it's a full-time job.
Those I spoke to said they could provide better for their families and give up side jobs, like Scarelli.
I mean, we all think this is the greatest job in the world, and we're always telling everyone to be a firefighter.
Scarelli's path to firefighting was not a painless one. His brother died of an opioid overdose while Scarelli was a teenager. He watched the emergency personnel come to his brother's aid, and it changed him.
Seeing the work that they did that day, and I also knew that my brother had also talked about becoming an EMT as well.
He thinks a permanent career would tie this all together.
I think it's something that my brother would have been good at, and I think it's something that he was interested in doing and would be proud that I'm doing too.
There you go, big guy.
After the day of training, Scarelli drives back to a CAL FIRE station in Friant. Captain Paul Weaver passes him a hefty plate of stir-fry to warm up in the microwave. As he eats, they talk about the word going around, that seasonal guys might transition as soon as January. Scarelli says he'll make a down payment on a house, and Weaver, who's been working for 27 years with seasonal employees, says it's a long time coming.
I would be ecstatic if this actually goes through. Fingers crossed.
They say it's vital for the workforce and the community.
The public just needs to see this firefighting presence, and it will put them at ease, and it puts us at ease knowing that there's more of us.
A true firefighter's dream. For KVPR News, I'm Rachel Livinal.
And Rachel joins me now to discuss her reporting a little further. Hey, Rachel.
Hey, Liz.
Okay, I'm first curious, Rachel. There is this push to make more seasonal firefighters permanent. But someone who's neither permanent nor seasonal, but maybe wants to potentially become a firefighter, do you know what that process looks like?
So the process, from what I know, is pretty extensive. Those who want to be a firefighter typically have to attend like a firefighting academy, and they have to attend a paramedic school. They also have to do several written and physical tests. Of course, for all of that, they have to gain some certifications. Of course, they have to apply and be interviewed by many officials in the department. And that's just starting out. So being like a firefighter 1, being at the very beginning. If you want to be promoted, you usually have to collect more certifications and do more of what you were asked for the first round. So collect even more, do even more tests and all that, but just on a different level. Yeah, that's pretty much what you have to do, but it takes a while.
Do you know what caused lawmakers to really start talking and caring about bringing on more permanent firefighters?
I think the LA fires, the fires in Los Angeles were what started it. Prior to that, everyone was noticing wildfires happening later in the year and into the winter months. But I think the devastation, the number of people affected in the fires in Los Angeles, and the fact that it was in January caused enough of a shock for lawmakers like Assemblywoman Jasmine Baines. And there was also someone called Senator Mike McGuire. He's in the North Coast. They both noticed and wrote bills kind of responding to that.
Do we know if this newly budgeted money will just go towards more permanent firefighters, or is there other things it could go towards?
We're hoping it does, but it might not. Although this is stated in the budget currently, officials I spoke to said the legislature and the administration would need to make a commitment every year to allocate it specifically for permanent firefighter transitions. One of those people I spoke to was Tim Edwards. He's the union president for CAL FIRE, and he kept stressing that these 2 bills that Baines and McGuire introduced need to be passed and put into law. He believed that that would also help ensure the money and the hiring would happen. Baines' bill was only introduced, and McGuire's is kind of still in the process of being heard right now.
You know, obviously wildfires are not happening all the time, even if they're happening more often. So why did the officials that you spoke to mention that they needed more personnel during the off-season?
So firefighters with CAL FIRE do a lot more than fight wildfires. I spoke to David Acuna from CAL FIRE, and he said these new firefighters would be able to provide mitigation work that's needed to keep potential wildfires at bay. CAL FIRE is also an all-risk department, so that means they can respond to anything from a traffic collision to a house fire. They do so much more than what we see in the news.
And I'm curious to know, how will having more firefighters benefit communities in the San Joaquin Valley?
So the people I spoke to really thought the transition would guarantee more retention within the region, job retention. State firefighters usually have to move from place to place to ultimately find a job that has more stability, so like being a permanent firefighter or a year-round firefighter. People like Matt Scarelli in my story. But Scarelli told me that if he got a permanent position in Fresno, he'd likely stay working there. And then also I talked to Fire Captain Paul Weaver, and he said retention of the same guys is really important for him. Every place has its own training and its own way of doing things. He said with the same people, he can spend less time retraining firefighters and more time doing what they're supposed to do, their jobs.
KVPR reporter Rachel Livinal, always great to chat.
Thanks for having me, Liz.
And that is today's show. Today's episode was produced by Rachel Livinal, Jonathan Linden, and KVPR, with support from the Central Valley Journalism Collaborative. I'm Elizabeth Arkalian. Find the latest local news anytime at kvpr.org.
Support for Central Valley Daily comes from Body 20 in Fresno's Fig Garden Village, offering full-body electromuscle stimulation training sessions. It's a high-tech, time-efficient way to help preserve and rebuild lean muscle. Each 20-minute one-on-one session is guided by a certified coach using FDA-cleared technology. Body 20 accepts health savings account cards. More information available by searching the Fig Garden location at body20.com.